Okay, let's begin. You're listening to Let's Stay Together Anime Break, the sub-series of Let's Stay Together where we talk about the 2019 anime Fruits Basket. I'm Ellen.
And I'm Kayla.
And today we're discussing episode 2, which is called Eat Somen with Your Friends. And we're going to do a summary, and then spoiler-free discussion, and then spoilery discussion.
Woo.
Yay. Okay, this episode covered chapters 46 and 52 of the manga, which also seems really far apart. I guess in this part of the series we're just bouncing between a lot of topics, because that's what happened last time too. It was like 2 chapters that were pretty far apart.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it makes sense. They blended together well.
Yeah.
These two.
Yeah, it's all stuff, like, they're pretty good at, like, finding chapters that conceptually go together, even if they're not next to each other in the series, so.
But it was good. And we covered them in our episodes, episode 24, which was called A Good Kid Like You Isn't As Alone As You Think You Are, which is a long title, and then episode 27, which is called Locked Up Tight. This episode opens at school. Grade teacher Mayuko reminds the class to hand in their career planning sheets because summer break is coming soon and their parent-teacher conferences will be happening after that. And Tohru wonders her grandfather will be able to attend her conference. The classmate friends of Kyo's tease him about what he'll do after he graduates. What, like open a cat cafe? Shut up, none of your business, he sasses back. Uo shows up and kicks Kyo's desk right in his face, screaming about how she's damn hangry. And Kyo and Uo grab each other's collars. Be grateful you were born a woman, Yankee, he shouts. You'd be dead in a heartbeat if you were a guy. I did that because I know you won't hurt girls, dumbass, she yells. And Tohru's like, guys, let's eat lunch. Outside, Yuki, Kyo, Tohru, Hana, and Uo eat together. Kyo complains that eating with this group makes his lunch worse. Hana and Uo aren't sure about their career plans yet. Tohru has already submitted hers. I want to start working so I can support myself, she explains when they ask her about it. Uo says that there's always the option of becoming a bride, and Toru's like, huh? And then Hana says that maybe she should go to college to get a better job then. And Uo is like, she's not marrying you. I meant like one of these two, she says, and points at Kyo and Yuki, who are like, huh? Hana and Uo are like, what? Is Tohru not good enough for you? Tohru tries to calm everyone down again, saying that if she gets married, it'll still probably be pretty far in the future. Uo says maybe she'll get married first, and Kyo is like, nobody will want you, to which Uo responds by smacking him in the head. Marriage talk aside, Uo tells the group that she met a guy at work, and Tohru and Hana ask what he's like. While Hana eats a hamburger, Uo says that he's kind of like Tohru. And while they gab, Yuki spaces out about his career plans. What should he do next? And Kyo, too, worries about his future. And then we cut to the theme song. After the theme song, Kyo and Tohru walk together to Shishou's house for lunch, and Kyo tells her not to expect too much, but she's really happy to get to eat with the two of them. You're easy to please, he says, and then tells her to look where she's going or she'll trip. They enter Shishou's house, and they call for him, Tohru, politely. But Kyo is like, I brought her, or whatever, which I thought was really funny. But Shishou doesn't come to meet them at the door. Tohru smells something strange, and then Kyo suddenly realizes that something is awry, and he takes off into the house, and Tohru runs after, tripping after he stops suddenly at the kitchen door. Shishou is quote-unquote cooking while reading like a crazy person, and Kyo scrambles to put out the pot of burning food, and Shishou explains that he thought he'd try cooking for the special occasion, but was immersed in Shigure's new book, and Kyo sasses him for it. After the chaos is under control, they sit together at the table. Shishou apologizes, and Tohru notices that he cut his hair. Yep, I chopped it off, he says. All that hair, she says, lamenting the loss. And Tohru offers to cook lunch for everyone and goes to inspect the kitchen. And while she's there, Shishou asks if there's something on Kyo's mind. He has that look like he used to have when he was little and wanted to talk to Shishou about something. Kyo says he doesn't have any cute habits like that and says there's nothing that he wants to talk about and goes to help Tohru find something to cook. It turns out that Shishou has nothing but mustard in his fridge, and thankfully Tohru manages to find enough things to make curry for them. I almost made a joke again about cribs, and then I realized I made that joke when we recorded that before. It's like, you can't make the same joke about cribs twice.
I mean, there's not a law against it.
It's my only empty refrigerator joke. And I was like, maybe I can make another joke with this, like a bachelor and a blah, blah, blah. Nothing came, so I moved on. Anyway, the point is, cribs, you're welcome. Shishou offers to help, and Kyo kicks him out because he'll be the one who's helping, and Tohru is excited that Kyo will help her and informs Shishou that Kyo is a great cook and even made her delicious rice porridge when she was sick. Kyo made it for you? Shishou asks, and Kyo physically pushes him out of the kitchen to avoid further embarrassment. Shishou watches from the hall, and another boy in a karate gi asks what's going on. Shishou says he was kicked out, and they watch as Tohru unties her hair and ties it back in a ponytail, and Kyo holds her ribbon for her. I never thought that he'd be able to interact like that with other people, the boy says. The doorbell rings, and he goes to answer it. This time last year, Shishou thinks, frowning, he couldn't even raise his head, let alone smile. All he had was despair. He was surrounded by an aura of darkness similar to death. And Shishou remembers Kyo outside, kneeling on the ground, head down. He cries, and Shishou lifts him by the arm. In the present, the boy in the gi calls Kazuma. The person at the door was Kyo's father, he says, with great concern. Shishou tells Kyo and Tohru, who are diligently preparing vegetables for curry, that he has to go out, and apologizes for leaving unexpectedly. Kyo asks if something happened, and Shishou says that he doesn't need to worry about it and tells him to be a good boy until he gets back. He leaves down the hall, and Kyo chases after him. Remember when you used to worry when I left? Shishou asks as they bicker, and Tohru leans up the kitchen and smiles and comments on it herself, and the boy in the gi hears her and adds with a smile, a doting parent for a doting child, and Tohru freaks out and asks, to whom am I speaking? The boy introduces himself as Kunimitsu Tomoda, Kazuma's student and secretary. He tells Tohru that he also knows other tidbits about Kyo, what Kyo was like as a child. For example, he once cried because he was scared of a nearby stain on the wall. Kyo asks Kunimitsu not to blab. Right, the third wheel is leaving, he says, shrugging and peacing out. Kyo-kun, you cried when you were scared as a kid? Tohru asks, and he's like, of course. It does look scary, like a face, she says, touching the stain on the wall. Oh, maybe you're still scared of it. And he's like, of course not. She chuckles and touches the stain, and Kyo remembers the time in question. Long-haired Shishou comforts him as a tiny child. Don't be scared. It'll get less scary as your mind and body grow, he says. Kyo rests his hand over Tohru's on the wall. If I grow, he thinks, will I be able to overcome the fear? She looks at him as he contemplates, and then he smacks her face. Come on, let's get started. Can I change my future? Kyo narrates as we transition away to another very large house. Did you notice how big Shishou's house is? We didn't talk about this yet.
Yeah.
It was gigantic.
Is his house and the dojo the same place?
I guess? Did they go to the dojo before? No, wait, maybe they didn't do it. Did Hiro go to the dojo? No, didn't they move that scene? In the manga, there's like a scene where Hiro goes to Shishou's... When he steals Toru's notebook, he goes to Shishou's dojo, but I think in the anime they moved it to outside of Shigure's house. So I don't think they showed it before, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So okay. I don't know if it's the same place. I guess it's the same place. It's not really clear.
Yeah.
They never show like a huge wide shot of it. There's never like one.
It seems like it would be, because otherwise what would Kunimitsu be doing there?
He's there all the time.
Yeah.
So I assume it's the same place. It looked like there was like, if you look at the wide shot of the house, it looks like there's like one part of it that looks like a regular house, and then like a long hallway, and then like a flat part. So maybe that's like the dojo.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge building regardless, though. Like, it's gigantic. So, at least in my mind it is. I don't know.
I'm distracted by this Twitter video of an airport baggage claim with a bunch of crabs on it. Like, living crabs.
Like on a bag? Or like in...
No, they're just on the baggage
carousel.
Claim and, like, falling off of the carousel and walking around. Someone wrote, who flew with crabs? And okay. I don't know what the context is, but it's kind of hilarious. You see, like, airport employees trying to, like, wrangle them slightly.
Oh, they're so scuddly.
I know, they're everywhere.
These are my emotional support crafts.
Yeah.
How appropriate to have an animal break during anime.
Yeah.
I haven't done that in a while. Should I put the video of crabs in the show notes?
Yeah.
All right.
Meanwhile,
all right.
crabs.
Crabs. Okay, back at... Where the fuck was I? Oh, here. Okay.
Shishou's giant house. Slash dojo.
Well, Kyo's father's giant house.
Oh.
Because it's also large, I felt. Kyo,
Yeah.
Can I change my future? Kyo narrates as we transition away to another large house. The Shishou meets with Kyo's biological father in a well-furnished music room. He plays a classical record on a phonograph-style player in the background. Your father was previously possessed by the cat, Kyo's father says to Shishou. He sits nervously, shaking his leg. You of all people should understand. Normally the one possessed by the cat is confined, and that thing is getting a taste of freedom. The thing is getting a taste of freedom now. But that will come to an end after his high school graduation. Then they'll force it to live in that pitch-black room in the main estate until death. Kazuma Dono, I ask for your cooperation when the time comes. Shishou says he's getting ahead of himself. There's still over a year before graduation, and Kyo's father stands suddenly, knocking his tea over. I'm worried. Whenever I think that it might be allowed to keep living outside, that thing is a monster. A thing that as good as killed his own mother, my wife. And Kazuma sips his tea casually. The record starts to skip and play the same part over and over again. It was all that thing's fault. Because of it, everything fell apart. We see a woman falling, perhaps in Kyo's father's memory. You two are similar. Kyo was like that not too long ago. Unable to handle anxiety and fear, you shut your eyes and plug your ears, and leave other people to deal with your feelings. However, that boy is changing. He was able to climb out of his despair and is ready to leave it behind. He's trying to grow, Kazuma says, thinking of Tohru and Kyo together in the kitchen. Will you not change? Why do you persecute your son while never stopping to reflect on your own conduct? Are you saying that I'm at fault? Kyo's father asks. I just wonder if it's fair to put all the blame on him, Shishou says. Kyo's father says that he sounds almost fatherly, but accuses Shishou of only taking Kyo in for the money. You gain a fair sum for raising a zodiac child, even the cat, he says. Shishou stands. I rejoice in seeing him grow. No matter how much you scorn me, I can never cooperate with his confinement. Preposterous, Kyo's father shouts as Shishou leaves. That of the family will hear about this. Shishou says that he'll protect Kyo with his life. You're no parent of his, so you'll never understand, he says. Back at Shishou's house, Kyo and Tohru talk about swimming. Kyo says he hates the ocean, pools, etc. He asks if Tohru can even swim, and she's like, I can, I just need to learn how to breathe while swimming. And he's like, how do you swim if you can't do that? And she's like, I just go whoosh and swim really fast. Kyo chuckles and says that she'll get swept away by the ocean like that. And Shishou returns and they welcome him back. He pats Kyo's head and thanks with a soft smile. If you continue to change, I'll continue to protect you. And then they finally get to have curry together. Yay. Later, Moiji chats with Tohru while she leaves work. He also had to hand in a career plan form, but he's already decided what he wants to do. But he might not be able to do it, but he'll keep believing for now, and he'll show her one day. Yuki meets with Tohru and they walk home together, and they talk about Momiji and his goals. There are many things that we continue to fight for, Yuki says. Tohru starts to bring up something to Yuki, but then she says never mind. At home, she finds Kyo making somen in the kitchen, and she offers to make it for him since she needs to prepare breakfast for everyone. He can make the noodles, but he asks her to make a dipping sauce since they're out. And she asks what he was planning to eat it with, and he was like, I don't know, soy sauce? And she's like, would that taste good? And he's like, of course not, and bonks her on the head. She sits down with him while he eats noodles. She says that she had fun at Shishou's house, but it's a shame that he cut his hair, and asks why Kyo thinks that he cut it. Kyo remembers Shishou saying that it was a superstitious habit, and nobody will cry over its loss like someone would have before. He's just a doting parent, Kyo grumps, and Tohru smiles. She asks if he'll take over the dojo in the future, and Kyo says it might not be possible. Even if Shishou says it's okay, the Somas may not. If I mess up, he says, and then trails off, remembers Akito saying, until death. Don't worry about it, he tells her. It doesn't matter. Anyway, as the cat, when people ask me about my plans for the future, my career and stuff like that, it's like, do I even get to be a part of society? Will I actually be able to live a normal life and be equal to normal people? I'm at a loss just thinking about that stuff. Tohru looks down. What's with the worried face, he asked. We both know you've got the same kind of worries. And Tohru was like, huh? I do? Graduating high school and getting a job to be independent. Those are things you decided on for your mom's sake when she was still around, right? But she's not around anymore. And I'm sure you sometimes worry about your future on your own. Not really, she says. I mean, I'm sure I'll get a good job, and I'll work hard. Her voice breaks and she trails off. Then what's wrong? Kyo asks. It's not actually that simple, is it? Tohru thinks as she starts to cry. She remembers herself as a small child standing alone, and as an elementary schooler standing alone in the apartment she shared with her mother, that we saw in season 1. In her school uniform outside of the tent, and then in front of Shigure's house. Will I be able to find a decent job, she wonders? Even if I work hard, will I be able to make ends meet? What will it be like after graduation? In 3 years? 10 years? When this house isn't my home anymore? When I think about those things, I realize that I don't have the answers. I don't know who to turn to or what to say. I get this vague feeling of anxiety. It swells up and sweeps me away, and I can't seem to shake it. Oh, this is what Yuki-kun was trying to tell me. She cries. Please stop, Kyo-kun. Stop what? He asks. Stop making me look closer. I can't. I have to keep acting like everything's okay, because if I don't, then I'll start crying and I won't be able to stop. I'm used to all the waterworks by now, he says. Just don't get your snot everywhere. Enough about me, she says, and then blows her nose. What I want to say is that Shishou-san is waiting for you, and if something is wrong, she wails, pinching his bracelet and shaking it. I'm sure that silently bottling up is painful and even more wrong, so... And he's like, hey, you'll break it, and then he grabs her hand. Okay, I understand. Sheesh, why are you such a crybaby? It sounds like someone is in need of advice, Shigure says, sliding open the door to his room and suddenly freaking out Kyo so much that he jumps away. He tells Tohru not to cry.
I love the animation of him just flying across the room.
He's like a cat. Like a scared cat. He hops away, and then Shigure is like, why are you over there in the corner? Anyway, let me tell you my rad advice that I'm about to say. Think of it this way. You're surrounded by a huge mountain of laundry and can't move. You have to wash everything by hand. You'd be overwhelmed, right? You'd wonder if you could finish it all. And if you could, would you be capable of getting a satisfactory result? You'd be anxious, but time would be ticking. What should you do? For the time being, start with the laundry at your feet. It's important to think about what's ahead, but also important to think about what you can do right now. If you continue washing the laundry one by one, before you know it, the sunlight will start peeking through again. The worry will rise up in you sometimes, but in those times, take a break. Read a book, watch TV, or eat somen with everyone. Wow, is that a great talk or what? He says and invites himself to partake of their somen, and Kyo accuses him of just wanting noodles. Tohru goes to knock on Yuki's door. She says that he thought that he might still be awake. He asks if something is wrong. She says, I've also been feeling anxious. So that's why, let's all eat somen together. And Yuki's like, huh? The episode closes on the 4th of eating somen together. Shigure teases Kyo that there's a rumor that you'll turn into a pervert if you eat the pink somen. Like hell there is, he barks. Eee, pervy perv, Shigure says, and Yuki's like, low life. Kyo yells, Tohru smiles, and all's well in Shigure's house once again. A night full of worries is best spent in a warm place, Tohru narrates as we pan up to the night sky, and then cut to the end theme. Yay. It was a cute episode.
Mm-hmm. It's very, I don't know, viscerally pleasing to see these scenes like animated now.
I know. This is the first time we read this manga so long ago, and Kyo smacked Toru's face so long ago.
Yeah. Actually, especially this episode, because I have this like really vivid memory of like seeing untranslated scans of the scene at
Hand
Shishou's
touching
house. Yeah. And be like,
people...
oh, it's so cute. And then, you know, it took a little while to get the translation, and
yeah,
now it's animated.
Yeah. The hand touching.
We've
important.
come so far.
We come all the way to hand touching.
Yes.
And Kyo smacking Tohru straight in the face, which was hilarious. Yeah. I love how there was a couple like little tiny things that they added, like how Toru's running in the house and then she trips on her face. I like laughed a lot, way too much, way more. Because I guess like, I guess a lot of this was like we expected because we've read it before, but that was unexpected.
Yeah.
She stands up and is like, "What's wrong? Or is everything okay?" Some of the way that things were acted was hilarious. Like somebody recently sent us an email that I have to reply to, and they asked if we watched the dub or the sub, and I watched both, because the dub, I just enjoy watching the sub, but the dub is also really good. Like this dub is, I don't know, it's one of the best dubs I've seen recently, for sure. Not that I watched a lot of anime, but the scene where Toru's crying is sad and hilarious, and in the like subtitled version, the voice actors for Tohru, the last part where she's like, "Let's talk about you," it's like barely understandable. It's like hilariously not understandable because she's like sobbing. Yeah. She's like, "Oh, enough about me." It was great. I don't know, but all of this was really good, in both versions, I guess.
Yeah, well
voice acted.
Side note, I also usually watch both, although occasionally I only have time to sit down and watch one, and then I'll just watch the sub. But
yeah, I don't know. The voice acting was good. And seeing these scenes animated was good. Did you have one in particular that you really liked, other than the face smacking? Which I assume is obviously a favorite.
Yeah. I forgot that movie just a German accent in the dub until he showed up back on the screen. I was like, all right.
Right. That's right. I also liked, I don't know, I wonder if more people watch the dub, who listen to this watch the dub or the sub, because I like the way the dialogue is translated too, because it's very like modernized. Like I find the manga that we're reading obviously was translated in the early 2000s, but I find in like the version of the anime they added like slang and stuff, and like the things that they say are a little more like modern. Like Ua says she's hangry. Nobody would have said that in the like maybe actually, I don't know, but I don't think we said hangry in the early 2000s, right?
I don't think so.
So like stuff like that, like I think and I like it. I think it feels more like they're actually like the youth of today, I guess.
Yeah.
As opposed to the youth of the 2000s, which is what the way that it's translated, obviously.
Yeah.
I felt like the music in this episode was good. I liked the record skipping. At first I was like, why is he listening to a record on an excessively antiquated looking gramophone? But
yeah. Also the room is like records floor to ceiling. I don't remember if it was like that in the manga, but
I don't think it looked like that at all. I think it was just like a bare room, probably. And I don't mean bear, B-E-A-R.
Yeah, a bear room. Just full of bears.
Full of bears. I mean, it would just have a different vibe. It definitely wasn't like that. I feel like they added that to his character. I think it speaks to so like there's part of the scene, my personal take on it is that it speaks to the sort of like opulence of the Soma family, that he's able to afford to spend time, has a giant house and is able to collect all of that stuff, and could have a vintage like gramophone because you get money for being a parent of a zodiac animal or zodiac whatever, someone who's possessed by a spirit of the zodiac. So, like, that's part of what's revealed in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously it's used as a sort of like quote unquote broken record, like something that he's repeated over and over again to emphasize that. So I guess it's used in that way. But I also choose to interpret it as being part of like the things that you can afford when you know, he can afford to have a giant house and a giant record collection that he lives in alone because he's making that soma dough, I guess.
Yeah. And does make it even more rich that he's accusing Cosmo of just taking care of Kyo for the money.
Yeah, what an asshole.
Yeah.
You're like, look at you. Look at your life. Look at your choices. Like, come on. I know. Yeah. So I think it's used, I personally think it's used in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I Googled how much it would cost to buy a vintage gramophone. It's not that much money, relatively speaking. There are some restored ones for like around $1,000 or less than $2,000. It's like, oh, okay. But anyway, listen, that's a whole side note. But
I think
it's excessive anyway.
Yeah, the vintage gramophone in a room like full of records like that is more than your average person would drop on a hobby. So unless
you're really, really an audiophile and that's like your only hobby, I guess. There's other equipment in the room too, but like, yeah, he's like, also the fact that he put it, I don't know, it's an interesting choice. I think it's like over the top. It's like, so dude comes to visit, like you have to, I don't know if people who don't listen, I mean, I don't know, records have come back around, but it's like you have to take it out of the case, choose which side you're going to listen to, put it in the record player, slowly drop the needle and wait for it to turn on. It's like, it's not something he's just like, oh, I'm just like, I put a CD on and now Shishou's here, so I'm like talking to him. It's like he had to put it on while he was like in the room. So it's like, who's playing a fucking loud gramophone while you're having a conversation and like having tea? It's not like they were gonna have a casual conversation. Like, anyway. That's a side rant about this, but I like the way that it added, they basically did something to add a bit of depth to Kyo's dad's character, which is fine. I'm on board with the messaging. I just thought it was weirdly contrived in this case. Yeah. Have it play a regular record. I also tried to figure out what the record was. It has like a very detailed label, and there's a close-up of the label, but like the text is all kind of blurred. Like it's not detailed enough that you can tell if it's actually like a relevant song of any kind. So I did briefly look into that, but I couldn't tell. If anybody recognizes the classical music that he's playing, I'd be curious to know I'd be curious to know what it is, I guess I should say. Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I thought generally the music was good. There was a lot of different music. Like, it's stuff that, in terms of like the background music, I think there wasn't any new background music other than the one that was obviously used for the scene with Shishou and Kyo's father. But I thought the way that they used background music in this episode was particularly nice, especially in all the like touchy-feely and dark scenes. So that's my comment about that. I don't have any other specific things that I wanted to point out in terms of the adaptation in the music. It was nice to see them. Oh, what about, this is the first time we met Kunimitsu. Yeah. He didn't say very much. I don't have a lot of strong opinions about his voice. Do you have any opinions about his acting or animation or voice?
No, I think he came off, well. Like,
he sounds like Kunimitsu.
He's cute, yeah. Yeah. I like the, he came off as someone who knows Kyo well and is able to tease him and like get like friendly anger in return. So yeah, like,
it wasn't like a fight like with Yuki or something.
Yeah. He's like, get out of here. And he's like, fine, fine.
All right. Yeah. He's like, okay, the third wheel's leaving. Yeah. Kyo's like, what? Yeah. I like how Kunimitsu and Shishou are like not like conspiring, but they're both like hovering by the door, being like while they're in there in the kitchen. It's cute.
Both like, ooh,
drama bomb, he said.
Kunimitsu also obviously thinks Kyo's dad is a dick too.
Yeah, I love how he was like, it was Kyo's dad.
He's that guy.
Also, I'm surprised. I always thought that he rang the phone for some reason, not the doorbell. And then I watched the dub, and they were like, he was at the door. I was like, that's weird.
I thought it was the phone too. I don't know.
I don't know. He said like, he specifically said like the person at the door was Kyo's father, but I don't know why he would be at the door. Maybe they just added it because they needed to match some lip flaps or something. But
yeah, maybe.
But I was like, that's a weird doorbell. It sure sounds like a phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love how he goes back.
It doesn't really matter, so.
No, it doesn't. I just remembered that about that one part. But yeah, of course, Kyo or Kunimitsu, you're right. He doesn't seem to be a big fan of Kyo's father either. And then we see why, you know?
Yeah.
Because he's a dick. Good thing this podcast has an explicit rating. I mean,
Yeah.
we can say whatever we want.
I also think, like he does the same in the manga, but just hearing him use like it and everything when referring to Kyo is really
so gross.
Chilling. Yeah.
Yes. I was like, is he really? Yeah, he is. He's really saying that.
Yeah.
And so he said it that way in the dub too, which I mean is obviously important. So that's good. I feel like that's the kind of thing that maybe in a past world, people like wouldn't have gotten done. I don't know. So I was pleased that they were, like his dialogue is just as callous in English as it is in the original Japanese too, which was nice.
Yeah.
/ terrifying, but nice.
Yeah.
I felt like the person, I don't know, I don't really have any comments about the dub voice actor, but at least in the Japanese version, the guy that played Kyo's dad, he did a good, like, crazy swing of emotions, which I thought was nice. Because Kyo's dad goes from being really nervous and then kind of scared. Like, it's like scared, angry, and then bitterly enraged about the past, about his wife. And I felt like he did a good job with conveying those feelings, which was nice.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody hates Kyo's dad. I mean,
Our members of the Kyo's Dad is a Dick Club.
So there were a lot of things that were revealed in that conversation that we should talk about. So we learned in this episode, people who are watching the anime for the first time learned that Kyo, the person who's the cat, not just specifically Kyo, but the person who's possessed by the cat is confined, and Kyo will be confined once he graduates from high school. And thus, that impacts his potential prospects with his career and stuff. And those are the things that he's worried about. It's in the back of his mind, right? Like I said before, we learned that the parents of the juunishi are paid, I don't know, it just says like a handsome sum or something, but they seem to be given a significant amount of money because they're raising children who are possessed. So it's kind of an interesting interworking of the Soma family that we hadn't heard before in the anime.
I wonder if it's like it's like, here's some money to like not take your weird animal child on a talk show to make money.
Do you think they have that in Japan? Like, what's the equivalent
sure
of
they have
Mori
something where you could...
in Japan? I mean, there's plenty of weird TV shows everywhere.
Sure they have some way you could sell out your...
Yeah, I don't know. I always wonder how much it is, but it's implied. I think it's implied that it's a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
By the setting, as I said before, and then also just by the way that he brings it up. And Cosmo kind of acts like people have brought it up before. He's like, yeah, you and everybody else think that I'm just in it for the money, but I actually care about Kyo. And then everyone cheered. I mean,
yeah.
Another thing that was included in this conversation is that Kyo's father really blames Kyo for whatever happened to his mother. And Shishou sassed him and was like, maybe you should look at your own conduct or whatever, or like you'll continue to blame him without looking at your own conduct. So that was an interesting thing that was said. Because it was a good, straightforward adaptation, kind of like last time, it was just the two different chapters from different parts that were combined together, but they still kind of brought the same theme together. So we talked about that previously, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the parent-teacher conferences animated.
I'm very excited about that. I was also excited to see Mayuko again. I guess we didn't talk about that. She's at the very beginning of the episode and like just says a little thing, but she'll be back, I'm sure, since this is only episode 2 of like a full season. So I'm very pleased to see her again. Yeah, because I like her a lot.
It's nice having Mayuko in the anime instead of just generic teachers.
Yeah, that's right. It was just random people before. Yeah, I don't know. Then I don't have that much else to say. We could talk about spoilers. There are things to be spoiled, I'm sure. Okay, good. Well, in that case, next episode, we'll talk about episode 3, which is called Shall We Go and Get You Changed? With a heart at the end. I'm really enjoying the like title cards at the end of the episodes this season. Yeah. They're all really funny. In that case, I guess we'll see you next time, if you're not listening to spoilers.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Spoilers. Let's talk about them.
Okay.
I liked the scene that they added in of her. It wasn't like the scene where she's crying, where they had her like memories of her standing alone in all the apartments.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was like her parents' house when her father was still alive, I guess. Like the
Mm-hmm.
scene when her mom leaves. And then there was like when she was a little kid in the apartment that she had with her mom. And then the tent, which was hilariously close to the cliff.
Yeah.
I noticed. But I liked that little like scene that they had, or those little like scenes while she was talking. I saved them to talk about in spoilers because of those specific locations, but
Yeah.
that was a nice addition. I felt like it went well with that part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got the mention of Kureno in Uo's little story.
A dude she met.
Convenience store man.
Yeah, convenience store man. Also, yeah, a person who's kind of like Tohru, and they're like, what? Who is kind of like her? I guess Kratos is kind of like her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, convenience store man will make an appearance. Well, he's in the opening theme song and ending theme song too. So.
Mm-hmm. And we get to meet Mine next week.
I know. Who's excited about Mine?
I'm excited.
I'm excited. Actually, wasn't it? Yeah, she was in the first season, but like not. Sorry, she was in the first anime in 2001, but she wasn't in the first season of this one. So
No, she was in one of the openings, the one with the umbrellas, but you couldn't actually see her.
That's right.
She was like, walking with Ayame.
Oh, right, from behind or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Because it's only Soma's and Tohru in these openings, so.
Yeah.
I guess they were like, someone was like, I want to draw Mine, and then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's not even in this season. It's like, oh, okay. She doesn't even go here. But yeah, that's fun. This is going to be a cute episode, too, because.
Yeah.
Also, it's nice. We got Kyo. We got like a Yuki-centric episode and then a Kyo one, and now it'll be a Yuki-centric one, so.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting a good balance. Plus, you get to see Yame again. I know that's really what you're excited about. I mean, I'm gonna get to scream so much. I mean, the way that
I do like Mine a lot though too. So
the way that the title card was read in her voice, I was like, this is gonna be a good time. I can already tell.
Yeah.
Where she's like, let's go and get you changed. Like, oh no. It's like you can hear the gleam in her eye.
Yeah.
I wonder what else they'll add, because I think that's just one chapter. So there is like one that's kind of in between these, around this time where Ayame and Yuki have their like little heart-to-heart in his secret base. So I wonder if they'll combine those two things.
Yeah, maybe.
Seems like that would be appropriately themed about brothers bounding.
Oh, we got that little glimpse of Akito's bet with Kyo.
Oh yeah, that's right. Their fight. Their bet fight.
Yeah.
Slap bet? I mean... Can you imagine if they had a slap bet? Where's that fanfic? I mean...
Someone winning a slap bet against Akito would be hysterical. 5 slaps for eternity.
Yeah, really. 5 slaps for eternity. Was it like 10 slaps right now or 5 slaps for eternity?
Yeah.
To be doled out at any time. Akito would definitely pick 5 slaps for eternity. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Akito can't take punishment, so... I feel like the person that would make a slap bet with Akito, though, is probably Shigure and not Kyo.
Yeah. Shigure is absolutely the person in the series who'd make a slap bet with anyone.
Yes. Probably with,
like, if someone informed Shigure about slap bets, he would be delighted.
Yes. The bet was, like... it was such a short time. It was such a short scene that I felt like we couldn't really comment it, but we can comment on it in the spoilers, of course. But yeah, that was interesting. So I'm sure that'll come up soon. Mm-hmm. Actually, I guess that comes at the beach, right? So.
Yeah. Lay in the beach ground.
I'm so excited. I hope we get to see the Mayako Hotori stuff that happens during the beach arc. I was really excited that Mayako is back.
I feel like they'll include it.
There's no reason not to.
Since they made a point to have Mayako established.
Yes, and then they also could have moved that thing where she's like, your parent-teacher conferences, turn them in. They could have put that at like any point also. Mm-hmm. So... your career thing, turn it in. So maybe they're just like, oh, by the way, remember, don't forget this person is their teacher. Yeah. Well, I don't have that much more to say anyway. Yep. I don't know. I feel like, Kunimitsu's there. We set up like Shishou's house as a location because like Rin lives there and stuff like that too. So, and there's like more scenes that happen at the dojo in like past what was included in season 1. So
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, it wasn't at the dojo because they moved Hiro before Kazuma.
That's right.
So
right, we had talked about why.
Yeah, because Kyo is not going to the dojo at the time.
That's right. And it was later. Heroes
Mhm.
shows up later in the
Yeah.
manga. So
Yeah, because that's why Kyo finds him at the dojo, because he's, going to the dojo, and he's like,
right.
"What the fuck are you doing here? Take off your shoes."
Yeah, right. But then instead in the anime they just had it in front of Shigure's house, so
Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I don't have any other. I mean, whatever. Spoilers are everything, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's still 2/3 of the series left. I mean,
Yeah. Spoilers, stuff will happen.
yeah, some things are still gonna happen. Any last thoughts?
No.
Okay. Next time we'll get to meet Mine. That'll be fun. We'll be chatting about episode 3. Shall we go and get you changed? It'll be fun. It'll be good.
Yep.
Can't wait to see what Mine's personality is like reanimated. Okay, good. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye. Hello, it's Ellen. If you want to send us a question, you can find us on Twitter at staytogetherpod, on Tumblr at staytogetherpodcast.tumblr.com, or you can send us an email at staytogetherpodcast@gmail.com. Kayla and I want to keep creating podcasts and keep them ad-free. So if you like what you're listening to, please consider giving to our Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/staytogethernetwork. Thank you always for listening and for all your support. We'll see you next time.